Thank you. You may be seated. At this point in time, we will listen to the State of the Mission address to be given by the President of the Asian Baptist Clearinghouse, Pastor Paul Byars. We're so thankful for the Asian Baptist Clearinghouse facilitating and helping out the support of our missionaries and our workers around the world. And the Clearinghouse is an important tool. Now, the Clearinghouse, once again, I'd like to clarify this. The Clearinghouse is not a sending agency. It is the local church that sends out the missionaries. We partner with the local church. And Dr. Byars, Dr. Noble, Dr. Ribaton, our next speaker later, Pastor Dr. Gilbert Toquero, please continue to pray for him. There has been some improvement already in his health, but we still need to pray for him. He is still in the critical level, but continue to pray for his complete recovery. And then also Pastor Denver Andales, Pastor Ray Sobrabas, Dr. Boyd Lyons, Pastor Lacandatu, and then myself are part of the board of ABC. And our function is to help out, facilitate the support and the training of our missionaries in partnership with our local churches. And so this pandemic has brought a lot of people to a standstill, but yet it has brought us to a moment of contemplation, a moment by which we can increase our faith as individuals, members of the local churches. And in so doing, we can be able to prove to God that He is real in our life. Because this is the way to prove God in hard times. Sayo na kaya mo prove sa Ginoo ka nang way problema. Naghagag kwarta, easy ra kay by faith, but it's really not as heavy as when the Macedonian church in 1 Corinthians chapter 8 proved them in the dire need, in poverty. They abounded in the riches of their liberality, as we have been challenged yesterday by Pastor Noble. And so at this point in time, let's listen to this State of the Mission address by Dr. Paul Byars, and then we'll be followed by many more testimonies from our missionaries, and then we will go to our last sermon for this morning's session.
I bring you greetings from Bible Baptist Church, Tanza, and from the Asian Baptist Clearinghouse. And I'd like to congratulate Bible Baptist Church, Cebu, for another great year for their missions conference. What an opportunity to see what God can do through the lives and the hearts and the giving of BBC Cebu. And I want to say thank you, Dr. Gisalva, for the many years that you have trained and taught your people to give and to sacrifice and to surrender and go. And we are excited to see that Brother Kent and his heart for missions as well, serving on the Asian Baptist Clearinghouse board and having a vision for not only the Philippines, but also for the world. May God bless you in a marvelous way as we continue in the mission. Also want to tell you our great sympathy for the loss of your missionary, Brother Gene Mukindi in Congo. Our hearts are saddened here in Tanza and at ABC. A great warrior has been promoted on to heaven, and we are praying that God will bring someone else to fill in the gap there in Congo, in Zambia, and continue on with the mission work that God laid upon his heart to do as well. But I'm here today to bring you the Soma of 2019 and 2020, and then flowing over into 2021 as well. So let me share with you the great blessings that God has been giving the Philippine Islands. Well, 2019 was a tremendous banner year for missions in the Philippines. It was our 25th anniversary for the Clearinghouse. Had a great celebration there in Manila. We added 29 new missionaries to the force. Had 20 great giving as well, 94 million pesos in 1994. But 2020 was promising to be an exciting year. We were looking forward to all of what God could do in 2020. But things did not turn out the way we thought they would. But the following is a report that gives us an insight on the year of fear and confusion in 2020. So let me give you some of the reports from the island groups, all three of the groups. We'll start with Mindanao. There was 20% of all the support that came from the Philippines, and 2020 came from Mindanao. In the Visayas, it was 19%. And of course, Luzon had 61%. And the total number of churches that were giving in that comparison year, 2019, there was a comparison between these 2 years. In Mindanao, 294 to 251. That's minus a number of churches, actually a 15% drop in the number of churches from 2019 to 2020. In the Visayas, we saw the same thing, 498 to 428. 70 churches that are down. That's a drop of 14%. It's concerning. In Luzon, there was an increase. You see the number of churches there. 25 extra new churches added their supporting missions in 2020, and that's a 4% increase. And the number of the receipts that we processed during the year of 2020 compared to 2019 was simply this. 2019 was 10,923, and in 2020, 10,260. You can notice a drop of over 600 receipts being processed in 2020. That's 6% drop in churches supporting. First-time givers, we're always excited about churches who start their mission endeavors and start giving to the foreign cause, winning souls. In 2019, there was 235 brand new churches started to give in that banner year. But 2020, there was only 100 churches. That's a drop of 135 churches, or 57% less than the year before. This 2020 pandemic really made a difference in what was going on in the Philippines. COVID-19 was versus God. This is my 2020 pandemic report. In January, this is a month-by-month blow of what happened in 2020. In January, it started off with a great month. I mean, one of the best months. 10.3 million pesos came into the Clearinghouse in January, and we thought this is going to be an overwhelming year. But by the end of April, after February and March and the lockdowns and the quarantines, we were looking at a 4.3 million peso deficit in the missionary giving. It wasn't looking good. We were wondering what's going to happen to the missionaries. How will the churches continue to give? What's God going to do? But the Lord wasn't through working. We were just getting started. It was by the grace of God that the Filipino churches continued in the mission. And God began to show his mighty hand in May of that year, 2020. You can just watch this chart as we go up the scale. And in May, it was 1.8 increase. In June, July, August, September, 9.9 million pesos came in. In October, November, and December, another great year. Actually, we ended the year more than what we started the year with 10.4 million pesos being processed in the Clearinghouse. 2020 was over. It wrapped up, and we were amazed to see what was going to happen. Although it was a year of negatives, we had less churches, we had less receipts, we had less first-time givers, but you want to see what God did? In 2019, it was 94 million pesos processed. But in 2020, we saw 103.7 million pesos come through the Clearinghouse. That's a plus of 9.7 million pesos above what we did the year before, or a 10% increase. Somebody said, covet versus God. Well, guess what? God wins. He had the victory in the end of the year. And now in 2021, we're 7 months completed, and yet the situation is still ongoing around the world, even here in the Philippines. And as I speak, here in the NCR area, it's ECQ. And where we are in Cavite, it's MECQ. a lot more shutdowns, a lot more restrictions. And we've watched this go on now for a year and a half. But let's see what God has done in the last 7 months. A little glimpse of the blessings of the Lord. In Luzon, in 2020, 35.2 million pesos. 21, 39.6 million. That's 13% increase, or a 4.4 million peso increase from Luzon. In Visayas, in 2020, we had 11.7 million. 2021, 12.6 million. That's 8% increase for Visayas. Amen. Thank you guys for giving so faithfully unto the Lord. That's a 0.9 million increase. In Mindanao, in 2020, 10 million point 8 for missions, and 12.6 in 2021. 15% increase in Mindanao, or 1.6 million pesos above the year before. The total Filipino giving, just from the Filipino churches in the first 7 months of 2021, we saw an increase that is phenomenal. In 2020, what was it? 57.7 million pesos in the first 7 months of 2020. Comparing that till today, 64.7. Can you believe that? That is a great thing. 12% increase, 7 million pesos increase for the year. I know this, that I am persuaded that neither mask, nor shield, nor lockdown, or quarantine, or washing, or distancing, or scanning, or whatever, MGCQ, GCQ, ECQ, or whatever ECQ shall be able to stop the love of the Filipino people from giving for the world evangelism to win souls and start churches around the world. Mabuhay the Philippines, because of all that God has done. What a blessing. In this last year, we had 8 new families added to the ABC family. That brings us now to 204 families serving on 47 countries around the world. And this year, for 2022, we're already talking to 14 new families that have a burning desire to go from the Philippines somewhere in the world to serve the Lord. God is still calling, God is still sending, God is still enabling the churches to continue to give unto the Lord. Our job is to continue in the mission. And I want you to pray for these following countries, because we need to go forward. There's no time to stop. We must reach the world before it's too late. Jesus is coming soon, and we must be about the Father's business. Would you pray with me for Ukraine? Would you pray with me for Zimbabwe? Would you remember Chile and Peru in your prayers? We already have a young family from Talisay has surrendered to go to Colombia as a missionary. I'm so thankful that God answered our prayer for Colombia. But we need to look for other missionaries to go to the Dominican Republic in the Caribbean. These are the opportunities that are before us. And I know that God is able to do it. And Cebu Bible Baptist Church, I want to commend you for your great giving. You have been a pace setter. You have been a sacrificial leader. You have shown the way. You blazed the trail. You have sacrificed not only your resources out of your pocket, but you have given your members, your people, the cream of the crop, the best that you have to go to the mission field. And I believe God is going to continue to bless this church and this leadership for the time that we have to serve the Lord. I want to challenge you, BBC Cebu, and also other churches all throughout Visayas, and everyone listening to this report on this missions conference. Don't quit. Don't stop. Go forward. Keep giving. Keep praying. Keep sending. And God will continue in the mission. May the Lord bless you. So glad to be a part of your conference this year.